Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Dear audience, Assalamu alaikum. I welcome you all to today's New Bangladesh. Here as usual, we shall discuss new citizens, new people, new economy, new science, new technology, overall new Bangladesh. And dear audience, you know that the whole nation is now eagerly waiting for one event, and that is election. That means the national election 2026. So our today's topic is National Election 2026. Today in our studio, as our guest present, you know both of them. They had been this place earlier. Colonel Shahjalal.
Thank you.
And Professor Raihan Kibria.
Thank you. Nice to meet you.
Assalamu alaikum, sir.
Assalamu alaikum.
How are you, sir?
Yeah, fine, thank you.
Dear audience, both of them are involved in election process, national election process of Bangladesh. So I would like to request them to tell about them in brief. You, sir, please.
Thank you so much to you and viewers of this channel. As already you have told my name, I am Lieutenant Colonel S.M. Shahjalal. I am retired from Bangladesh Army in 2021. During my last 30.5 years service of my life, I had the opportunity to participate in 2 national parliamentary elections as part of law enforcing agency. One in 1991, at that time I was just a newcomer in the army, and another one was in 2001. And academically, I am a graduate from BUET, and later on I completed masters from AIUB, and in practical service, I am practicing at present construction engineering. And I also served in, once I had been in army, I have served in Bangladesh University of Professionals as controller of exam, additional controller of exam, and town planner. And also I had the opportunity to serve as deputy project director of Hatirjil Begunbari project. And I also served in various capacities where roads and bridges in national level was constructed, like in Chimbuk Thanchi Road project, then Mirpur Jaya Colony Shorok. So that's all about me. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. And about you, sir?
I think you all know me. Thank you. I am Raihan Kibria, and I am working in computer science department as a faculty of University of Liberal Arts Bangladesh. And prior to that, I did my bachelor's from India, 4 years bachelor's, and then I did my master's in the USA. So I had the opportunity to observe, because I have stayed in both India and US for a long period of time. I had the opportunity to experience their election process and all the surrounding incidents. And I had also the opportunity to observe some Bangladesh election, because right after my undergrad, I was working as a programmer in election commission. That was in the 90s. So at that time, actually, election commission was trying to establish the voter ID card. So they hired consultants from the US, and those consultants, they actually wanted to facilitate the democratic process in Bangladesh. So they were involved with voter education. They set up an electoral training institute, of which I was a part. So I hope I can share my experiences with you, with the audience, because our election is very much due and people are very much excited.
Yes, thank you very much, sir. Well, sir, you know that, during the last regime, the fascist regime, those elections were all fabricated. Okay, and people just lost the trust on elections. But basically, the people of our country very much love democracy, and they sacrifice many times for democracy. So obviously, this time the whole nation is waiting to have a free and fair election, sir. So as a former member of the Law and Enforcement Agency, can you share your experience with us, sir?
Thank you so much for giving me the opportunity to share my experience. Once I participated National Parliament election in 1991.
Yes, sir.
At that time, I was a very young officer. Almost after I just joined in the unit, I had to go to the deployment for election duty. And as I experienced at that time, It was almost fair. At that time, we were not allowed to enter inside any vote center. Our mainly job was to secure the outside and carry out patrolling, so that if anywhere any problem is going on, so that we can intervene. Whole day I was performing my duty, and I performed my duty in a very remote area. That was the place was Manikganj district in Balitek area on the day of election. So whole day with 3-4 motorcycle, I along with my few soldiers, we used to patrol the whole area. So there it was very calm and quiet. And in the evening, I got a news that in one center there is some false vote was going on. But once I was informed, the polling officer who was involved in that issue, he was neutralized and he was taken into custody. And I visited that place, and I asked other agents that whether there is any problem or not. They said no other problem. He is taken into custody, so no problem. But after the day of the election, during the day of the election, but once the voting is done, after counting, then the issue arises that since he did this funny job or did this corruption, so that's why this counting is wrong. So we don't agree with this counting. And at the time, I just went to my camp and I was taking rest. Once I got the news, there were some legal issues to go again, overcoming all those. I just make it short. Again, I visited those places with my force and having proper authority. And after that, once I go there, I find the person who did the this wrong vote casting, he was doing it in favor of JP, Jatiya Party. And incidentally, in that center, JP got more vote. But overall, in that constituency, in all other centers, BNP, they got more votes. So ultimately, that was not having any impact. But even then, since there was one issue, and during the whole day, there was no problem. But after the counting, once it is observed that that particular party has got more vote, then they started doing some chaos. However, I controlled the situation and I came back with the ballot box and polling officers to the district office, and it was handled properly. That is one. And in 2001, I performed the duty in Mirpur area. Basically in the Mirpur 1, like Morning Sun, Morning Glory School or something like the Shahjalal Plaza, this area I performed my duty. There also, the main issue was at that time, at that time, in fact, I was studying in Buet. So when the vacation was declared for election, so we are ordered to join some other unit and perform duty. So basically, I had no own unit, but I went to some other unit. Personally, I was sent to an Air Defense Regiment artillery unit, and I performed with them. And there, the issue that I saw, that they established some post at night in the roads. And often they find some unauthorized arms, illegal arms, something, some other also abnormal amount of money. So they seize it and they take the people in custody. So at that time also there was some pressure from the upper side that if you get 2% from party X, you have to get 2% from party Y also, something like that. But the people who had been performing duty at night, their logic was, I am doing it randomly in the road. I am not going to house. That in that case, I can allot, okay, I go to X house, then to Y house. So they are performing duty on the road. So how they know this is microbus or this car belongs to X or Y? So it was a biased instruction given from top at that time. Later on it was negotiated, and ultimately the election was conducted peacefully. Now from these two, I want to sum up few things,
Yes, sure,
few aspects.
Sure, please, yes.
Like the basically problem arises in three problems should be solved considering the three phases of the election. One is before the day of election, after declaring tafsil, or even before tafsil also. And another one is during the day of the vote casting, and the third phase is after the vote casting. So before the vote casting, during tafsil or even before that, we should make such a plan that will help to execute a free fair election. Because for conducting a free fair election, you need lot of structural reforms in the organogram and also in the real infrastructure. So that has to be addressed adequately. Say for Bangladesh at the moment, you have a good database, which was not prevailing at that time when I performed my duty. Now we have a very good database, and since all voters have got the national identity card, so everybody is having fingerprint
Yes.
database. Okay, so that is one of the very good asset. And another thing is that we have now very good high-speed internet system,
Yes.
by which we can very well link the central database with the centers, by which we can verify that one individual is entering, he cannot enter twice.
Yes.
So either we can ensure it by fingerprint, or we can ensure it by punching the national identity card, whichever is feasible. And there might be also some problem that the server might give some disturbance. In such cases, we can have some arrangement that they will, respective centers will download the related datas in their local storage system, so that even the server is off, they are not affected for recognizing the individuals. So that is one of the issue which can be addressed at this moment, since already we have that infrastructure. And there is another issue before the day of election, that is the biasness from the law enforcing agency. At that time, which I saw or I heard some complaints sometime, that people are complaining that particular party's candidate is barred to move open, because if he moves open, then he is going to be arrested. So to remove this type of fear, there has to be a clear-cut policy that candidate can be arrested on which issues, on what clauses, and if they arrest some candidate or some very key personnel, which would be the list should be given before the key personnel and candidate list, then they have to acknowledge the main election commission, so that they can act as an umpire that whether this arrest or this action is justified or not. So these sorts of atmosphere has to be created by which people do not get a wrong signal that probably this law enforcing agency is going to favor some party, so I should not go for acting on behalf of my party, or I should not go for casting vote, I may have some trouble. So this type of effort should be taken, so that law enforcing agency, even someone is having some biasness in his mind internally against or for some party, he should not be able to display it due to the regulatory control. Because all we are human beings, we might have some choice for some individuals, but I should have a regulation which will bar me to act biasly. And for the day of election, now what type of complaint usually occurs? That there are dummy candidates are given, and dummy candidates on behalf of some particular party. Once they are more number inside the polling booth, then they bully the minority one, and he got afraid. And also the polling officers and others, once they find that their strength is more, then they remain silent. So that is another issue is created during the day of election. And how to counter that? Now we are very well equipped with CCTV technology. So except the polling booth where the candidate is pushing the seal against some candidate, except that area, all other areas should come under CCTV surveillance. And it has to be stored both locally and also from remote. So if one is erased, another one is there for as backup. And it should be preserved minimum for 5 years for one complete tenure of a parliamentary government.
Yes.
And after the voting, then there will be a counting. So counting should be displayed through CCTV camera. So people sitting inside their house, they can see that which party is getting what number of votes.
Yes.
So that is another one. And the last one, after you complete the counting, you should take the signature instantly and publish it instantly in the media, so that later on the complaint which we get that the result is getting tampered after going to the central compilation center, so that it cannot be done. So just after the counting, it should be online and it should be broadcasted instantly, so that people cannot have any point that during counting or after counting or some polling agent is purchased by the opponents and that's why he signed the wrong result, so that this type of problem doesn't come in. And another problem is after election, there is some violence by the winner to the losers.
Yes.
So always the losers, he becomes zero after the election. Say one party is winning, getting say 60% vote or 50% vote. And losing party say getting 2 or 3% less, but that is also a good number.
Good number.
But once the ruling party comes into power, the opponent becomes zero, and they sometimes they start torturing the minority. That why you voted on behalf of my opponent or something like that. So there should be also some system that that is the reform needed in the national level, that the party which is getting the second position, they can be also planned to give some share of the government ruling party or government to run some government machineries, so that they can also contribute to the national activities. So that will not give them the feelings of being deprived by being defeated. Winner should get more share, obviously, and also loser also should get some share, so that the feeling of deprivation and other torturing after the election doesn't occur. So I think more or less this is what I feel from my experience about 2 elections which I participated as a part of law enforcing agency.
Well, thank you very much. Sir, you studied in that country, we can say that who defined democracy, that Abraham Lincoln said that government of the people, by the people, for the people. So can you please share your experience in USA of voting with our viewers and with us?
Thank you for bringing up this topic. I think this is a very interesting topic. I would like to address some of the things from a structural point of view, and also I will address some of the points that Mr. Jalal has rightfully raised. So one of the things he mentioned is reform. In Bangladesh, what we lack is in proper governance, actually, overall. In the US, I was present during 2000 and 2001, Al Gore versus George W. Bush election. So I had the opportunity to observe the whole night their electoral turnout and their reporting. So at first, when America was established, it was established back in 1776 through a bloody revolutionary war where George Washington was the founding father. At that time, they had to break away from UK. At that time, that was not UK, from the English. So the founding fathers, there was not just one founding father, there were several founding fathers, like George Washington was there. Then
Hamilton was there.
Alexander Hamilton was there. He was the treasury chief. And then Thomas Jefferson was there. He was a philosopher. And he studied about all these nation building. And I think back when it was Corona time, I had the opportunity to go through all this literature, actually, how they thought about the state building and so on. So when they broke away from the king, it was a major step for them, and they had to think through the governance structure. What governance structure will make America sustainable? So at that time, when they won the Revolutionary War, George Washington, he had the opportunity to become a king himself, but he didn't, because he had known that actually being a king is not sustainable in the long run. And in consultation with Benjamin Franklin, Thomas Jefferson, Alexander Hamilton, and a few more, they set for about I think a month or so, they just sequestered themselves and they thought about how the state machinery will be formed. So they decided that they had to form a government that will consist of two chambers. One of them will be the Congress, and the other one will be the Senate. Why so? Because they thought that the Congress, which is composed of House of Commons. I think they call it House of Representatives in USA. House of Representatives. So the representatives will be elected directly by the people. So by the people's vote. But what happens after 4 hours or 5 hours in office? The general people get fed up usually with one ruling party. So what happens in the next election, usually the public opinion sways so much to the right or left that there is no balance. So that is the reason why they thought that it is better to have another chamber, which is the Senate. And the Senate members are not elected at the same time as the representatives. So that puts some padding. So after 2 years, the senators are selected. And by that time, the public sentiment has dried down, or at least toned down a little bit. As a result, both the parties, the loser party, winner party, they share some strength, they share some power. So there is some check and balance there. And also, during the elections, USA, back then, we don't have to think about now. Back then, in the 1700 and 1800, there was no internet, there was no electricity even. So the states were very much far away from one another. So they have decided that actually the elections should be held in the states, and the federal government will not actually force a centralized counting. The states will decide how they will conduct their election, who they are going to declare as their winners. So that's why the electoral system is set up in such a way that all the states, they decide, their delegates are elected by the people directly. And these delegates get submitted to the federal government. And the federal government, these delegates again vote for a president in the federal government. So that way their election is conducted. So it's actually a way to give powers to the states, so that in Bangladesh, as he mentioned, that if you centralized everything, it's not always possible, because every voting chamber, every voting booth has different characteristics, right? As he mentioned, that you can actually declare who has own in that part of booth, but centrally again, maybe that can be aggregated. So this is how the election process works, and there are many other instances which I like to mention. Voting is such a sacrosanct, it's such a what should I say? We are deprived of voting in the last 15 years. So people now know a little bit like what voting can do. It's a very sacred right of the people. In Canada, for example, they can install electronic voting machines, but they don't. They don't. Why? Because they feel that even if one person feels betrayed, if he or she feels betrayed, that I used to feel comfortable with paper ballot, and if he feels betrayed, then the sanctity of election is actually lost. So they still do the paper ballot. So these are some of the things actually we need to structurally do reform in Bangladesh. And I would like to mention that also the repercussion of the defeated candidate. We should actually accept defeat as a game. It is possible that we are being defeated this time, but next time probably they will be winning. So this kind of showing some compassion to the
There should be mutual respect.
Mutual respect
among the winner and the loser.
Right. Right. For example, Trump lost in the last election, if you remember. Yes. But he had to. He is a somewhat very autocratic type person, but he has to
He had to leave.
He had to leave.
Yes.
And at that time, lots of people, actually, his close associates, they were actually suggesting that please go, because Winston Churchill during World War II, he was defeated right after World War II. And he came back after World War II. So this will also probably happen to you. So this kind of consultation and then support of the people, that helps. Electoral process should be kept in a good spirit. We should not put it like, someone loses, so he has to go to jail. So these kind of things, I think this establishes legitimacy of their election. The culture changes. So I think I would like to hand over to you to ask other questions.
Well, thank you very much. As you mentioned, the last election of Donald Trump, where he lost, but as far as I remember, that the U.S. Army played a very strong role in that. That their duty is to uplift the Constitution. Their duty is, yes, to serve the nation, not the individuals. And that's why that the transfer of power was very smooth, we should say, almost smooth. Okay. So in this connection, I would like to ask you, Colonel Jalal, that what should be the role of our army or our defense force? I should mention that we love our army, we love our navy, air force. Okay, we respect them all. And obviously, they played very important role in our nation building and in all the events of our nations. Versus army says, "Shomore amra, shantite amra, sarbotra amra desher tore." So obviously, now we have all hope to our army in this coming election 2026. So can you please tell us a few words about this?
Okay, sure. Thank you very much to have this question to me. You see, the national identity card system was introduced by army.
Yes.
It was the beginning of to conduct a good election.
Yes.
So army, how they are going to function, that totally depends on political will. Because army is not an authority to take some decision above the government. They are under the government. So the authority who is running the government, their neutral will dictate army to conduct their responsibility neutrally. Otherwise, it becomes problematic. Basically, in our training system, there is no curriculum to support any particular party or anything. We take oath to serve the nation.
Yes.
As you said, in USA, the army took the right instant that they serve the nation. So in those countries, probably the regulation for the protection of rights of the defense people, and in our country, there are some differences. I don't have the complete knowledge at this moment, but so far I know it is not same. So later on, you can study on these and you can find out the differences. So that is one of the biggest issue, because whatever ethics or religious values, whatever we say, at the end of the day, every human being run after his own security. So the sense of insecurity lead many people to surrender to the will of the superpower. Superpower means in this case, the person who is commanding you. So to empower any authority or any officer judiciously, if he performs his duty properly and if he is victim for that, he should have some place to go. So that has to be ensured by the political government. That has to be done, because without that, it will not be possible that army will perform its duty absolutely correct. That is one issue. And as I already covered many of the aspects that how we did or we performed during the election. So the two elections that I performed duty, There I said instruction was not to go inside the voting center.
Yes.
We are not allowed. So there also has to be a national consensus that up to what extent army should perform duty, because there are some debate against it. Somebody says they should man the polling center also. Some people said no, they should not go inside the polling center. Usually, so far as per the existing system, inside the polling center, that is a polling officer, polling agents, and the voter who go for casting. And
Not even police.
Not even police. Police is at the entry.
At the entry, okay.
Okay. Then in the outer cordon, maybe some national security agencies in disguise or army patrolling here and there. So this is the way. So what army can do in this framework, that any sorts of illegal arrest or biased arrest, they can resist that one if they perform their duty sincerely. But during the day of election, what is taking place inside the voting center, if army is not informed, then they cannot do anything. So mechanism has to be evolved in such a way so that to what extent army should perform its duty, that has to be determined first. And once the borderline is fixed, red line is fixed, then how they are going to perform it, there has to be some written policies, do's and don'ts. In our country, we don't fix do's and don'ts. There has to be a clear cut. What is do's, what I have to do, and what I must not do. So if these things are clearly defined, I think everyone can perform his duty sincerely.
Thank you very much, sir. Sir, as you worked in the Election Commission office, in that side, and I think with program, okay, internets and others. So, as Colonel Jalal sir mentioned that every polling center must be well equipped with modern equipments, with internets, facilities and others, and with good server and everything. I have no idea at this time, do you have enough equipments and enough technology to support this, or we need to develop it?
I think the equipments are there. When I was working back in 94, 95, I think 95 to 97, at that time itself, actually, we are collecting voter IDs and so on. So by now we have a very nice database, and also we have fingerprints and all the things. I know one of my friend, he's working, he's working in that division to facilitate things. Because if you remember, if you want to register a SIM, it gets automatically validated through the national ID card. So the system is already there. Centralized system is already there. What we lack is the governance and the rules and procedures. Because far away, like somebody in the rural area, probably the person, the electoral officer there, see, for the last 15 years, we had a lack of exercising. So he probably still doesn't know what to do, actually. So the system is there.
What about the internet communication in our rural areas, very remote places?
Right now, I think internet communication is okay.
Okay.
In this regard, I want to add two things.
Yes,
One is internet communication and electricity, uninterrupted electricity supply.
Electricity supply.
So internet communication probably is not a problem now, but uninterrupted electricity supply might be a problem, because whenever I visit my home village in Chatpur, often I find the electricity is not available for a long time. So that is one of the issues. So if there is no electricity, there should be some arrangement to negotiate it. So probably this time the total number of centers will be 42,000 plus. So what I said, to solve or to implement those issues, one, you have to have a fingerprint machine in all centers.
Yes.
So that means you will require about 42,000 plus fingerprint machine.
Yes.
I think still more than a month is left. If government wants, they can procure it and they can install it. It is possible, number one. Number two, then if you put CCTV cameras, say per center, probably 4 or 5 cameras will be good enough. So in that case, you will require about 1,50,000 plus CCTV cameras. So that is available in the market, just you need to buy and install it. And for installation you need some time. So once you decide that this is going to be the voting center, it is always some school or college. So you can even now at the present in many school colleges also there is CCTV cameras. You may not require to buy it even. You just may be required to relocate. Okay, so that arrangement also can be also done.
What about the number of technicians to support all this?
Technicians, yes.
Number of technicians.
Technicians, because it is also possible to go for outsourcing. Like say, as I said, almost every school or college is having now CCTV coverage. So they are maintaining some technician. So you can co-opt those technicians for 7 days or 8 days and give them some incentive for that. The technological persons, skilled persons are available within our country. You just need to have a budget and planning well ahead. That is the main issue.
That is the main issue. Well, sir, another thing is that EVM machine, okay, you know that the last regime, the fascist regime, they wanted to introduce EVM system. At that time, I opposed myself and arranged a seminar along with other people against this EVM system because there may be hacking or some other issues, okay. So I think in Canada, they are not using the EVM.
No.
In USA, are they using EVM?
They are
not using EVM. So there shouldn't be raised any question about EVM, I think. No EVM.
Yes, there are a couple of ethical questions as well. For example, why not internet voting? Well, because internet is available. So can I sit in my house and vote through the internet? But there are some problems. For example, if I'm sitting, maybe you are sitting with me, maybe you are not a good person, then you are influencing me.
Yes.
So this kind of, for this reason actually, voting anonymously or through voting. No, it's not allowed because there are some ethical concerns. EVM falls in the same category because the visibility is too low, and also the equipment may fail, or the equipment may falsely calculate. There could be manipulation.
Okay, about EVM, I want to add some point. I had been saying that while I served in BMTF, we were tasked to implement the project of electronic voting machine, and as part of that, the election commissioner and also other commissioners, chief election commissioners and other commissioners, they came to BMTF and they tasked us to carry out the project. And as I had been in that capacity to observe those issues, so I can share some of my experience blending my programming knowledge. The person who is doing the programming in EVM machine, if he falsely or intentionally or by mistake do some wrong programming,
Yes.
that say some logic is possible to give, say abruptly after 1 or 3 punch, you will count 2-3 punch for a particular party or particular symbol. Okay. So it is possible to do the programming, and programming is always hidden, you cannot see.
Yes.
So how much machine you are going to test? So it is not possible to ensure proper transparency through EVM machine. That is one issue. And for taking the EVM project, the main logic was to reduce the counting timing, okay, vote counting timing. So against that also there are some other solutions, like if you make a structured voting ballot paper, manual ballot paper but structured, like as you serve in a university, in a multiple choice question or something like that, you are getting it checked by the machine, and it is taking very less time. So similar thing also can be implemented through manual ballot paper. After putting the seal in the ballot paper, once the ballot papers are scanned through a certain machine, which can be possible to manufacture, that machine will within a second it will count many manual ballot papers, and the result will be recorded. And thereby you can see easily that whether there is any problem or not. That is one issue. And another issue is that manual ballot paper is a very concrete evidence. If any complaint arises in future, you can justify later on.
Right, yes.
But in the EVM, once it is gone forever.
Right.
So that's why EVM is not feasible, I think.
Well, sir, as regards our people, those who are living abroad, this time they will be also voting there. So what is the system, manual ballot paper or through internet they will be voting? I have no idea.
Yeah, what this time the government has done is they have sent the ballot to each one, to the non-resident Bangladeshi people. And I saw several of my friends, they contacted me, they have received that and they're very excited to receive. I think what they will do is they will fill it out and then they will mail it. And once people here in our election commission, they receive it, they will count their vote. That's what I think is going to happen. And in the US, what they do is they have early, in the US, lots of military people are stationed abroad.
Yes, sir.
Because they have lots of military bases. So they have a system called early ballot.
Early ballot.
Early ballot. So even before the election day, say 1 month before the election day, they keep receiving the ballots.
Yes.
And they count them.
They mail it to USA or they count it in their bases?
No, they don't count it abroad.
Abroad, okay.
Those ballots are sent and then their election commission, they account for those. And also you are mentioning about the electoral voting machines. One of the problem with electoral voting machine is that there may be lots of illiterate people or elderly people. But if the voting has to be fair, so that's the reason why those things are not implemented.
Well, sir. Well, thank you, sir. Another thing is that as a member of the law enforcement agency, sir, that the polling officers and polling agents, okay, sometimes they are very much afraid of the aftermath. Okay, after the election is finished, okay, then the coming ruling party or those candidates, winner candidates, they can do harm to them in some ways, okay. So sometimes they are afraid and they are playing, I should say, not neutral role, but not doing their duty properly. Inactive role. So what can be done in this respect?
To solve this problem, I have one idea, maybe a wild idea, but you can think on that. That is usually what we see, that some school teacher,
Yes.
Say within the Upazila from one, he's the school teacher of one school. He's going to another school maybe 2-3 kilometers away there. So still he is within the locality.
Yes.
So if this can be done inter-district type, say I am from Chatpur,
Yes.
I am becoming the polling officer of Borishal.
Yes.
Then Borishal candidate is never going to find me out.
Yes.
That is becoming difficult. I think this type of measure can be taken.
Yes, can be taken. Well, sir, question number.
I think I'd like to add to that. Is that okay? Because our neighboring country, India, they have a very viable electoral process. Elections in India are more or less considered correct. So I think we should also take some help, to take some lessons from their electoral system. So as he mentioned, that during the election time, right after the declaration of the election schedule, at that point, in our country, the ruling party still manages the polling centers and the transfer power belongs to the ruling party.
Yes.
So this creates problem because I remember in 2004, I think BNP and Awami League, they were actually quarreling with each other about the deployment of election commissioners, and in the locality also it affects who is actually in the center. So what the election commission of India does is they have what is called a model code of conduct. So by the time the election is scheduled, a tafsil is declared, election commissions become the executive. So the government ruling party, they don't manage the transfer of individuals. So the election commission has full authority in who to deploy and who to take out, who to transfer. So that way the credibility is there, and
Sometimes they shuffle the administration.
Yes,
I think.
and
Okay.
they are not held accountable by the ruling government. The ruling government cedes this power.
Yes, sir, power.
So that's how I think the election is working correctly. In our country, I think we should implement something similar to that, because we cannot overnight we can go into US mode or Canada mode. We can probably follow what is nearby.
Well, sir, I would like to ask both of you about the issues raised during the elections, like dispute handling, or some what should I say?
Say allegation of
Allegations
unfairness.
of unfairness. Yes. So how can we handle this?
Yes, very good question. In fact, the disputes are of numerous types. One is which relates to the conduct of the election. That is one issue. And another issue is related to the implementation of law enforcement. Like someone is violating some electoral rules during the election. That is can be reported and action can be taken. But based on election issue, there are many murders, quarrelings. So I think there should be a separate court to conduct the violence issues that occurs during the election period.
Yes.
And those cases should be dealt by a separate special tribunal.
Okay.
Because in many cases we find that during the election, if the violence takes place and someone dies, and the person who is the victim, if he is from the opponent party, and once the ruling party is coming into the power, he is not getting the justice.
Yes.
So to avoid this, there should be a separate tribunal which will be totally controlled by the election commission, and which should given some special power to settle the cases within a specified period of time. So that is one of the biggest issue that should be addressed, and it should be solved in this way.
Thank you, sir. And your opinion, sir?
Well, he has mentioned about the practicalities. I would mention about some structural adjustments that the advanced countries do. For example, in the West, what they have is supportive of the election. They have independent media. Why independent media is important? Because then independent media, people are aware like where the election corruption is happening. So it's very important that an independent media exists. Also, electoral officers are very much protected from, even if they are stern or if they are very disciplinarian, they cannot be released of their duty, or they will not face any disciplinary issue. So about the election day fairness, so a couple of things like independent media, it helps a lot because if the journalists they report of the pollings, the happenings, then the election process is held accountable. So this is one supporting things. Also, the electoral officers, they are actually immune from firing or retribution in the advanced countries, so they can decide independently. They can take stern decisions, and also dispute handling authorities. Say some dispute occurs, so there could be some special tribunal. And in the US also there was a dispute and of severe kind. For example, in Al Gore and George W. Bush election in Florida, that was the deciding state, and for nearly 7 days, Supreme Court had to arbitrate the claims of the contestant, and at the end they decided. And I think just only the candidate won by 7 votes. George W. Bush won by 7 votes, and they observed each and every vote.
His brother was the governor in that state.
Jeb Bush was the governor. But still, people had deferred to the Supreme Court, and Supreme Court has televised that each ballot was counted, because there was a paper ballot, so there is a trace of which person was voted for. And I should also mention one thing, which is education. Why I say that? If you remember when we were growing up, when we were children, there were lots of media publicity about birth control, right? Like only two is enough, two is children, and that has impacted. So we can see that actually the Bangladesh population growth has actually is under control now. So the publicity awareness about election, the sanctity of the election, and to make people aware of their right, and to make people play fair, and to make people understand whose role is what. I think the government can, this is not going to take much time, much money. I think the government should proactively start doing this thing so that the next elections are fairer. So the more years pass, the more elections becomes fairer. I know when I was working in the election commission, one electoral institute was set up, and people from the West, they used to come and they used to teach the election officers about electoral procedure. I think this has to go to the root level, to the mass people as well, just like the birth control policy. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Proper control to the polling officers, which are hired from various schools, colleges, or offices. There can be some sort of orientation training. So what is their duty, in which situation, how they should behave. I think this sort of academic training should be conducted. So in that case, it will help to conduct the election more smoothly.
Okay. Thank you, sir. Another question is within party democracy. You know, in our country, there are often complaints that the candidates are purchasing their nomination, and that's why violence occurs after that. So what can be done in these regards?
This is a very good and extraordinary question. In fact, after the revolution of July or August, whatever we say, we expected that some sorts of reform should come in this regard. But I don't know. Still, I have not seen some sort of any reform of this type. There must be democracy within the party, because party is not an angel. They will commit mistakes. So there has to be some system within the party so that one person can criticize the party's any wrong decision, and thereby they can go for correction. So that is absent in our all democratic parties. That is one issue. So if the election commission make a regulation that the party should have a democracy within the party, this should be the form. And I just give you one structural idea about this type of reform. Like say in USA, the candidate which is nominated, they are selected by the local electoral voters. So if the election commission make a rule that say from party A, for a particular parliamentary seat, the enlisted or registered party members, they will have a conference, or they will have electoral voting, or whatever it is. They will nominate, decide top 1, 2, 3. Then the party head, he will select out of these 3 who is to be picked up. If this process is done, then purchasing candidacy by money, that possibility will be reduced. Not eliminated totally, but reduced. That is one. And another one is, before the declaration of tafsil, it's my personal opinion that all political parties should submit their probable candidates' name. Candidates and their active workers' name. So after the declaration of the tafsil, if they change their party or if they change their side, in that election they will not be able to participate from the other party, or even from his what we say about the independently, he cannot perform the election.
Swatantra. Yes.
Once you have registered against a particular party before declaring tafsil, after declaring tafsil, you cannot suddenly say, okay, I am not from BNP, I am not from Awamu League, or I am not from JP, I am from myself, so I am the candidate. So if there is a sort of some sorts of regulation like that, then these sweeping of candidates from one party to another party, or betrayal or aggrieved, I think this is going to be reduced. This is my personal opinion. I think if you have some other more ideas, you can add.
You may have some more ideas, sir. Yes, sir.
I actually don't have much idea, but one thing I noticed, like in the European democracies, they have a youth program. So someone, say of age 10 years, 12 years, 13 years, say in Netherlands or Norway, these school children, they practice the democracy from the very beginning. So they become youth Democrat or youth Republican.
Yes.
As a result, from the beginning, they are actually grooming to be a leader and how to behave civilly. I think we should also implement something similar.
Inside the school, they are having elections and
right, sir.
practicing democracy
Right.
like
Yes,
this.
sir.
Well, thank you very much, sir. Another thing is that, sir, this time probably that there are 3-4 candidates who is getting the majority vote, he will be elected. But in Europe, in some countries, the person must get 50% plus 1 vote. That means majority of votes of the voters. But till now, we don't have this type of system. Do you think that we should introduce this type of system?
This can be introduced, but before that, we have to find out the possible advantages and disadvantages. So theoretically, it is good, but what challenge we may face, that also we should consider. That is, say, no one is getting more than 50%, then what is going to happen?
No, there are second turn like this. Like second
Runoff,
okay,
yes.
Yeah, runoff, yes.
Then the election expenditure will be a little more, budget has to be increased, but the system is good.
System is good. Well, sir, thank you very much. I think that we have covered all the important questions. Dear audience, I think that you enjoyed our today's discussions. The topic is very much important, and let's hope for the best. We hope that we will have a very good, free and fair elections this year, and we will have a very good year. This is 2026. Happy New Year to all of you. Thank you very much. Hope to see you again in the next episode. Assalamu alaikum.